Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our new reboot of The Better View. Real talk for the conservative women, and you men are going to want to stick around too. Thank you for spending your night with us. I'm your host, Tracy Belmonte, political diva, education expert, constitutional scholar, Walking Dead superfan, and lip gloss aficionado. I am joined tonight by two stupendous co-hosts, and I'm proud to share the stage with them. First up from Arizona, we have the one and only Rihanna Dilley. How are you, Rihanna?
I'm doing great tonight. Thank you, Tracy.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. You might seem familiar to some of our viewers.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Brendan Dilley's soon-to-be wife at The Real Housewife. It's my fiance. And I'm also a realtor out here in Arizona and an artist and a mom to our 4 kids.
Oh, so you have no free time whatsoever?
None, but in the free time that I try to make, I love to go shooting and go to the gym. Those are my 2 big hobbies.
And that's why I love you. Also joining us this evening, we have Deanna Lorraine. Rihanna and Deanna, that's not going to get confusing at all.
Indeed.
How are you, Deanna?
Fantastic. How are you? I'm so excited about this show.
Excellent. Yeah, me too. And, you know, I was watching you over the weekend, watching your Twitter, not in a creepy way, like most guys that watch your YouTube channel do. But, you know, I know that you spoke this weekend at the Phyllis Schlafly Eagle Conference. What was that all about?
Well, I was speaking for the Phyllis Schlafly Eagle Conference, and it's this big summit where there's pretty much all the top conservative leaders and influencers in America all under one roof for the whole weekend. And we're really trying to move America forward in the America First platform and really lead the cultural revolution and the political revolution forward. So it was really amazing. And my particular topic I was speaking on was how modern feminism is failing men and women and the country. And that's very relevant to what's been going on the last few weeks in the news, too.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to get into all of that. By the way, I just want to tell our viewers not to adjust your TV set. I did change my hair color. I know it's a little shocking for some people that regularly viewed me on Your Voice.
I love the color.
I do, too. It's perfect going into fall.
Very sexy.
I had to join you guys, you know, I had to join the brunette squad now, the brunette bombshells, and everybody's, you know, saying to me, well, did you break up with a boyfriend? Is that why you went for such a dramatic change? Actually, no, I just wanted something totally different just for the heck of it. I don't know if either one of you have ever dyed your hair after going through something traumatic, but that's apparently a thing.
It is, and you're in the witness protection program. Blonde is too noticeable,
too obvious. Yeah,
exactly.
No, I remember one of my traumas, like with a breakup. I did, believe it or not, one of the A-line bobs. Like I cut it all off.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks great on you. It looks bad on me. Like I look like a trauma haircut. Like, hi, trauma.
Like everybody knew from a mile away that you went through a breakup.
Oh yeah, it was a breakup haircut for sure.
I've never done anything drastic like that. Like I've done the whole.
I always do.
Oh, do you?
do.
What's the wildest thing you've done after a breakup, as far as looks go, appearance goes?
Well, like getting back into the gym, like regularly. I do that. I've done like hair reddish color. Short hair. I did this after breakup. It's like #breakup haircut. You just want to like show up differently. And then like, and know that if they see you on Facebook or Twitter or something, you're like a whole new woman.
Yeah, new me, who dis? I don't remember you.
Yeah, like, who are you?
Who dis? As long as you don't do the Rachel Maddow haircut, I think you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about women's haircuts here specifically, not...
Ooh.
Yes, right. That was great. We'll be right back. We're going to get into the topic that's on everybody's mind, which is this whole Judge Kavanaugh mess, and definitely, wow. Well, I'm just going to wait until the next segment. We'll get there in a couple of minutes. We'll see you back in a little bit. Okay, welcome back to The Better View. I'm Tracy Belmonte, joined by Rihanna Dilley and Deanna Lorraine. We're going to dive into our first segment, and we have to talk about what everyone and their mother is talking about, and that's Judge Kavanaugh being accused of attempted rape 36 years ago. So his accuser, Christine Blasey Ford, has accused Kavanaugh of groping her and forcing himself on top of her at a high school party in or around 1982. She doesn't know exactly when it was. She doesn't know exactly where it was. Now, this accusation, known to Senate Judiciary Committee ranking member Dianne Feinstein for more than 6 weeks, was kept private until after the end of the hearings on Kavanaugh's nomination. So the Democrats held this information from the Republicans that, to me, just demonstrates bad faith. And it just seems like an obvious ploy to postpone the confirmation. They want to postpone that vote until after midterms, where they think they can cheat their way into winning the Senate. And they want to deny Kavanaugh the appointment. So, Rihanna, what did you think about when you first heard this news?
Well, I tweeted about this yesterday. If you don't follow my Twitter, it's @_Hublet. And I made my opinion about it pretty clear, which is that it's obviously a political hit job. And they've done it before. It's the typical playbook. And the worst part about it is that this is doing a huge disservice to people who actually are real victims. You're taking away their power, you're taking away their credibility, you're taking away their courage to come forward, because look at the fallout. And now, because of this, you always are going to have that grain of doubt when someone comes forward, like, is she being serious, or what does she have to gain from this? And nobody should ever be questioning, what do you have to gain from getting raped or assaulted? So what they're doing to women with this is disgusting, in my opinion.
I agree with you. I share your opinion. Deanna, what did you think about this when you first heard about the story?
My gut reaction is exactly the same. It's predictable at this point. It's even, might I say, boring. It's just, at the 11th hour, when they've tried everything that they can to stop and block his confirmation process. They've tried to catch him in so many different things, and he can't be caught. And so they have to dig up way past to his high school to find this very vague thing that may or may not have happened at a high school party. First of all, if they have to dig that deep for a high school party, he's squeaky clean. That he should be confirmed right away. What's next, a traffic ticket? How far back does it go? When does it end? And I feel like it's just absolutely their way of weaponizing women. And what Rihanna said, it's really actually doing a huge disservice to the Me Too movement and creating a joke out of it, a total mockery. They're solidifying themselves as fake news, as, null and void, the boy who cried wolf. And real victims of real sexual assault are going to pay in the end for their short-sightedness and selfishness. It's very short-sighted and selfish. No one is going to believe real victims anymore after this. And I feel like it's setting the Me Too movement back and women back decades. Yeah. They're weaponizing women right now. And that's not the only effect. There's going to be way more effects in the future, like the way that men and women are going to interact with each other, or relationships between men and women are going to be so hindered now in the future that men are just going to say, you know what, I don't even want to deal with women anymore. I don't even want to be in relationships anymore, or work with women or hire women, because it's just too risky. We don't know when a woman's going to use a high school incident, or what, I had guys pull my hair and, push me down the slide and kiss me in third grade, fourth grade. Am I going to suddenly use that to put them behind bars? I mean, really, it's just, to us who have a brain, it's laughable and it's blatantly obvious. And for others, I think it's doing a huge disservice that they're not calling this out for the bullshit that it is. I'm pretty sure that they know it and they're not calling it out. And that shows a huge lack of discernment on their part and a lack of good faith, where we can clearly put them in a box of just insane, crazy, evil people that are just on a death wish right now.
Yeah, I mean, what's the standard anymore? Are we going to go back to high school and be held accountable for things we did when we were gawky kids that didn't know better? And I don't think he did it. You know, this woman is not, she's not credible. Okay, she's, first of all, she's a California professor that's this far left activist. Before she came forward, she scrubbed all her social media of her far left activist type of posts. On ratemyprofessor.com, she had many students that claimed that she was very mentally imbalanced, and being with her, you have to go on antidepressants to be you know, deal with her, to be taught by her.
It should be Christine Crazy Ford.
Yeah.
Well, and I think I saw something about her brother having connections to Fusion GPS, and also some rumors about her doing the CIA internship recruiting. I mean, there's just a lot of dots to connect there. That is like, but she conveniently got assaulted by a minor at a high school party some decades ago that nobody can corroborate through 8 FBI clearances. I mean, come on.
It's a cooked story. The
fact that it even got any credence is ridiculous. I mean, where's the corroborating evidence before it blew up? When did it become guilty until proven innocent? Why is that? That's not what we do.
That's true. I mean, due process was so important to our founding fathers that they put it in the Constitution twice. And we've created the society where allegations are enough to convict somebody. And that's just, that's wrong, because any of us can be held to that same standard if that's the standard. And here's the thing, you know, you have this guy that he, like you brought up, he went through at least 6 background checks by the FBI over 25 years and nothing turns up. And then you had 1,325 written questions from U.S. senators, and there was not one question on this alleged assault. You had 65 meetings with U.S. senators, not one question, statement, or Spartacus moment about this. This is a disgraceful, seriously, this is a disgraceful partisan attack. It's a character assassination, and it's also a disrespectful perversion of the Supreme Court nomination process. So, you know, I'm hearing that she was asked to testify on Monday, this coming Monday, but she has not responded. So, Deanna, do you think that she shows up?
I hope that she shows up, and I hope that people find out that she's really crazy, but I do think that she'll show up. And what I'm worried about is that this turns into yet another witch hunt, that it gets completely dragged out. I certainly don't want to turn it over to the FBI, which is what they're talking about, because we know the FBI has been compromised and they can't be trusted either. And what is it going to be, another 2-year Russian Mueller witch hunt for this, for his high school party? No, I'm not going to accept that. I hope President Trump won't accept that. And I do want her to show her face. I don't think that Kavanaugh did it. And you know what's real sad? I'll just add this in there. I was on CNN last night talking about this, and I was ganged up on by 3 Democrats, of course, but that's to be expected. But they're all saying now it went from he may have done this at a high school party, maybe not, may have, to they were literally calling him last night a sexual predator. A sexual predator, that's his new name now, is Brett Kavanaugh, the sexual predator. Like, where can you imagine having an upstanding career for decades that is so squeaky clean that your high school girlfriends are going on TV and vouching for you, and you're being called a sexual predator in front of your wife and children and the whole country after serving as a judge for decades? Can you believe that? I mean, just the fact that that type of slander is even allowed is absurd. It's absurd.
It's, you know, I always thought that a sexual predator wouldn't be this upstanding citizen that had over 25 years of service to this country, who feeds the homeless, who volunteers to read and tutor disadvantaged young men, that to give them a better way of life and to help them in their life and be a father to them when they have no father. I always thought that a predator would be a lot different than that. And this woman, she's a pussy hat wearing, far left liberal hat. Yep. And she thought her name would never be released in this. She wrote this down. She thought she would never be Anita Hild. Now, if you remember, you know, when Clarence Thomas was, Clarence Thomas was confirmed. It's been a long day. Excuse me, folks. You know, Clarence was a single man. He was flirty with Anita Hill. It was back in the 80s and the early 90s. It was a different time. You could be a little flirtatious. Now Anita Hill, went and followed him from the Department of Education to another job. Now, I've been sexually harassed in my workplace, and I never did anything about it. And I was sexually harassed pretty seriously. And I was young. I was a young teacher. I didn't have tenure. I was afraid. And if this man ever asked me, do you want to, go to this other job with me? I'd be like, hell no. I would never go with somebody. So I feel like this is just another Anita Hill scenario, and I don't think she's got the guts to testify. So,
well, not only that, she wasn't even as close to him as Anita Hill was to Clarence. Right. I mean, this girl, she hasn't even seen him since high school, allegedly. And I mean, not only that, remember how many women came out when one woman came forward for Cosby? It was a whole line of women. When people do stuff like this, there is a history of bad behavior, and you see it. There is nothing on this guy. There's nothing except this one woman's crazy out of left field allegation. And I think they know it won't stick. I think it's a last ditch attempt just to try and delay things because of what's really coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a rapist, rape is violent. You don't just try to rape, because what she described is attempted rape. Now, she supposedly repressed this memory, and it came out in a therapy session. I don't buy repressed memories because I've done a lot. Now, granted, there are people that do repress traumas, but repressed memories can be fed to you too, depending on who the therapist is. And he claims he wasn't even at that party. He has a witness that said he wasn't at that party. It was so out of character for him. And you brought up about the ex-girlfriends. I mean, not for nothing, I don't have a whole lot of ex-boyfriends I would say really good things about.
How many exes would vouch for you? Anybody? Yeah. Like, no. I'm pretty sure my exes would hate me. I'm pretty sure I hate my exes. That's kind of the way it goes. Like, if he left as a perfect gentleman to the point where these girls are like, no, I got to go out there and put my face on camera and defend him. He was obviously a great guy.
Yeah. He almost seems like the too nice guy that would need like dating coaching or something like that.
100%. He would be that guy like now at my age, like, oh, I wish I went out with Brett. He's such a success. Yeah. Like, why did I spend my time with all these bad boys? I should have went out.
I know.
Like, these girls are probably the ones that actually broke up with him and were like, oh, God, he was such a nice guy. Why didn't I stay with him? I feel bad.
It was obvious when President Trump chose him that President Trump wasn't looking for a fight with him. This was a guy that was squeaky clean. It was going to be an easy confirmation. This is somebody that if Jeb Bush would have won the pregnancy, oh, goodness. Yeah. I can't speak today. That's exactly what you wanted a talk show host. Well, if Jeb Bush would have won the presidency, he would have picked Kavanaugh. He's like a vanilla pick. He's very low energy. Yeah, it's totally safe. And it just goes to show you the Democrats will do anything. You can't work with that side of the aisle. They will do anything to thwart and to obstruct any agenda President Trump or the Republicans that have a spine, any of their agenda. They just won't do it. They won't work with it.
While simultaneously ruining any movement they try to create. Anything that they do that's supposed to be like a good social program or a movement that's supposed to better people ends up becoming a slush fund, some kind of crazy circus, something that just becomes a political movement. I mean, what have they done that's actually worked out? Me Too started in a good way. It got Weinstein locked up, right? And it started a conversation in Hollywood about the culture there, which is really twisted and needs to be, it's like the second swamp, right? But then they did what they do. They politicized it. They like pussy-hatted it. And now it's this crazy thing that nobody wants to be a part of, to the point where even certain celebrities are calling out their own liberal party and saying, we've gone too far. Bill Maher, Sean Penn, Lindsay Lohan, they all have said, be careful. This is a slippery slope. And here we go, down the slippery slope. Yeah. Every time.
Deanna, last one in this segment. Does Kavanaugh get confirmed? What's your prediction?
I think he's going to get confirmed. Yeah. I think that Trump, I love him, and I think sometimes he does play 4D chess. I think he's got some sort of an ace up his sleeve. He's got to have something. And I believe that they predicted that this would happen. because the left are so predictable.
It was predictable.
Mm-hmm. That they were going to throw some Hail Mary like this. Here comes a sexual harassment accusation. And I feel like Trump is smarter than that. And I think that he's got something up his sleeve, and I think that he's going to get confirmed. That's my prediction.
Okay, we're going to be right back to the Better View. We're going to continue our Kavanaugh conversation. There's a lot more to come. Please stay tuned. Welcome back to the Better View. We were talking about the Kavanaugh debacle and the accusations that were leveled against him recently in the last segment. So we're going to continue on with that. And Deanna was giving us her take. She believes that Kavanaugh does get confirmed. I second that. I believe that he gets confirmed as well. And I don't think that Blasey Ford is going to show up on Monday.
I don't either.
Brianna, what do you think?
No, I don't think she's going to show up. I think that she is, as we've said, I think she's mentally unwell. I think that she's unhinged. I think she didn't think her name was going to get out there. I think that she's probably going, oh crap, they called my bluff and they want me to go testify. And she has to go sit face to face with this guy and try and defend her position, which is already, it literally sounds like somebody else's memory, like somebody else told her some story about how something happened to them at a party and she like held on to that, and which is why she doesn't remember when or where. So how do you go defend half a memory to the whole country in front of this guy who's rock solid? I don't think she's going to actually show up. And if she does, it's just for the sake of the left propping her up to just delay things. And it's not going to work.
Yeah, who knows? Who remembers something from 36 years ago? I'm not 36 years old yet, but I can't imagine remembering something from 36 years ago or even high school. I can't remember.
But you know, I remember high school parties. And I remember, I may not remember where exactly the house was, but I remember whose party it was. I remember people that were there. I mean, I don't have this complete blank slate of a memory and just have these little snippets. She's not credible. I mean, this is something that you can't prove and you can't not prove. It's somebody's word against someone else's word from 36 years ago. I don't remember what I ate for lunch today, let alone 36 years ago. But a traumatic event, I would think you would remember it piece by piece, but I am no therapist. I have to tell you, there's the story here that happened locally. There was a 19-year-old college student. Her name is Nikki Jovino, and she filed a bogus rape claim against two Sacred Heart football players, and she later admitted that she made the charges up because she didn't want to know, she didn't want a potential boyfriend to know how promiscuous she was. And she was recently sentenced in Connecticut, where Sacred Heart University is, for up to a year in prison, and she gets this massive tongue lashing from the judge. She's rolling her eyes, which made me want to reach through the TV screen and choke her. But you know, should more states, Deanna, should more states adopt these laws to prosecute women who make these claims up?
1,000%. There needs to be very harsh consequences for a woman who lies, and maybe there's going to be less of these than fraudulent charges. And I also think there needs to be a statute of limitations, and that needs to be upheld. I think California removed their statute of limitations last year. But I believe that memories become faulty after 5 years, especially if you haven't filed anything, you know, and then you file something 35 years later. I think that if you haven't pressed charges within 5 years, I kind of feel like then it must not be that traumatizing. And maybe that's sexist for me to say, but it can't be that traumatizing for you if you haven't pressed charges within 5 years with that person. So I don't know. I just think there should be a statute of limitations, and I do think that yes, there should be major penalties for a woman who's caught lying.
Yeah, I don't think you're sexist. I think you're being real, and being that we're women, we're almost allowed to weigh in on this, because I was sick of when Roy Moore got accused, and there was the yearbook and that whole mess. I was accused. And me, a champion for children, I can't tell you how I've gone above and beyond for children. We'd be here all day. But I was accused of supporting a pedophile. which it was just absolute, just a mockery of everything that I was. And I took that.
Yeah, it's a character assassination.
Completely. And that's what the left is famous for. If you look at Keith Ellison, let's compare and contrast the left's treatment of Kavanaugh with Keith Ellison. Now, Keith Ellison, there are numerous police reports against him. His ex-girlfriend has said that the Democrat Party has threatened her. They've ostracized her. It sounds a lot like what Hillary Clinton did to Bill Clinton's accusers, like Juanita Broderick and Kathleen Willey and those kind of people. I mean, Rihanna, what are your thoughts about the way that the media, the Democrats, people in general are treating the Keith Ellison beating allegations? And supposedly there's video of this, that he beat this young lady, and he wins to run for AG, right? Over in, what state was that? Montana? I forget the state, but pardon me, Minnesota. I knew it started with an M. What's your reaction to all that?
It's the same kind of dismayed shaking my head that I keep doing almost daily now. It's par for the course for them. It's a perfect example of the typical hypocrisy that they are social justice warriors and outraged and ready to fight to the death for a cause as long as it fits their paradigm and their narrative and whatever the end result is. They just use people and situations like pawns. And this is a perfect example of that. They don't care about women. They don't care about women's rights. They don't care about women having the ability to protect or defend themselves properly from somebody. I mean, you have video evidence, you have witnesses, police reports, and you can't get a hand, really? But you can talk about, oh, this guy groped me like 36 years ago, which, by the way, it's been proven, I believe, I could be wrong about this number, but I believe the number is 30%, as high as 30% of your childhood memories are false. Your brain made them up. It tricks itself. So I totally agree with Deanna about statute of limitations. The brain is not, eyewitness account is not infallible. But when you have video, that's pretty infallible. And so to just like everybody keeps bringing up this situation and not a single liberal even responds to it. It's just crickets because the hypocrisy is so bad they can't even acknowledge it. Yeah, it's aggravating. It's completely aggravating. As somebody who actually does care about women and women's rights and all of that, which is why I call myself the unfeminist, because being a feminist really is the opposite. It destroys men and women. And it's infuriating. It's aggravating. Yeah,
Dan, I want to know, where are the feminists coming out to support Keith Ellison's accusers? Where are they? Yeah.
They're crickets. They're nowhere. And I posted
this. Everybody.
Yeah. Hi, hello. I'm like screaming, and all I hear is an echo back in a cave. I don't hear anything, and I don't see anything. And when the Keith Ellison story broke, wasn't there like barely any media coverage over it?
No.
Yeah, there was nothing.
Right? It was like nothing, and it was huge. And then we talk about a high school party that may or may not have happened.
Yeah.
Come on. It's so bad.
I'll tell you what, though, if the Keith Ellison accusations were against Ted Cruz right now, it'd be all over the place.
Oh my gosh. Were Roy Moore or Clarence Thomas's accusations ever even proven?
No.
No.
They were still, and I think
that all those women, where'd they go?
I know. Right after Roy Moore, after he dropped out of the election, didn't those women just go away and disappear? All those very traumatized women.
Pretty much. All those women who had their lives ruined by Roy Moore just completely disappeared.
Right. And I love when people keep saying, like, what does this crazy, lazy Christine Blasey, what does she have to lose? Like, what does she have to gain by doing this? She's putting herself out there. She has so much courage. What does she have to gain? I'm like, I'll tell you what she has to gain. She's going to be the woman, the hero to the Democrats,
right,
who's going to subvert the will of the American people and block conservative Kavanaugh from becoming on the Supreme Court. So she's like the hero. She has everything to gain.
Yep. That's 100% right.
Yeah. Not only that, why are we speculating on what she does or does not have to gain as the veracity of her story? Oh, well, we perceive that she doesn't really have much to gain from it, ergo, it's got to be true. That doesn't even make sense when you're talking about a judge. Like, again, due process, the irony that this is happening in the case with a Supreme Court justice. It's crazy. It's crazy. I hate that it's getting this much attention. I hate her.
I can't stand it. Oh, it's so stupid. And that's the thing. Democrats are digging their own grave, because if there were some rational Democrats that came out and said, you know what, this is pretty stupid. High school party, he has a squeaky clean record. Let's look at his track record and his history. This is like, let's call spade a spade. This is a last minute Hail Mary, and it's pretty ridiculous. Yeah, if more people said that, they would have some credibility and some discernment left. But because they're sticking together like glue, and they're all saying, no, she's credible. This is it. They're going right into it. It's like, okay, I'm done. I'm done trying to reason with any kind of liberal. They've lost all credibility. And the real victims of sexual assault will pay for this in the end.
Yeah, the victims that maybe they covered up with the slush fund that the taxpayers ponied up.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to be a champion for women, why don't you release the list? I want names of all of the Democrats and Republicans in Congress who use our money to pay off women and buy their silence. That's if you're going to be a champion for women. It's obvious that women are only to be believed by Democrats or even Republicans, for that matter, if it wins you political points. It's obvious. If you've learned nothing else today, you've learned this. You've learned that fact. Now, I'm going to shift gears a little bit because we're running out of time in this segment. And did either one of you watch the Emmy Awards last night?
Did anybody?
I watched the introduction as much as I can stomach it, because I just wanted to see what it was all about.
But I heard within like the first monologue, it made people irate. Is that true?
Within the first minute and a half, they were already mocking Jesus, Christians, conservatives, and white people. And they actually had the gall to say this. They said, the only kind of people that pray or that say thank you to Jesus out loud are either crackheads or Republicans or Republican crackheads. And everyone laughed and cheered. And this was in the first minute and a half. They literally said the only people that thank Jesus out loud are crackheads or Republicans. I was
So where Republicans we get compared to crackheads?
Or dregs of society.
Oh,
yeah, Christians are now crackheads. I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, okay, this has to be the worst of it, because this was in the first minute and a half. The rest of the 7 minutes was, every other word was white people this, and Republicans this, and God lovers this. I mean, it was vile. Couldn't believe that it was on.
I love that hate speech only goes one way.
Yeah, of course.
I know. Could you imagine if that was a Republican commentator and they got up? First of all, that would never exist because Republicans are not allowed. This is just like, a liberal narcissism fest. Let's, be perfectly honest. Could you imagine what the reaction would be if they said that about any other race besides white people, or any other religion besides Christianity? What would that be like, Rihanna?
Okay, I think we all know what that would be like. That would be an absolute cluster. I mean, could you imagine? Just imagine if, just for example, if there was a Republican award ceremony, right, where we dogged on Islam and made fun of all these people, or made fun of any other race besides white. It would be headline show-stopping news, hate groups, hate speech. I mean, the whole gamut. Which, I mean, to be fair, it would be. It's hateful. That is hateful.
Very hateful.
I mean, it's just hateful. It is so hypocritical.
It just seemed like hate on white people night, because I understand they did some sort of song and the song was too white, so they had to have like Ricky Martin and stuff come out and Latin it up. But what's all the hatred to white people? What did we ever do to anybody? My ancestors were over in Italy.
I didn't choose the color of my skin. Last I checked, we're not supposed to judge people and bash people by the color of our skin. Last I checked, but maybe we have a new agreement in America.
Yeah, I remember in 3rd grade, we had to memorize Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech. And the part that everybody knows is not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. That is how you are supposed to judge people, which means you have a standard of values by which to judge character, which has nothing to do with your ethnicity, your color, your race, your religion, or any of that. That was Martin Luther King Jr.'s aspirations for America. So who was he really a champion for here? Not this little circus that they had going on last night, which, by the way, I was really pleased to see viewership for it was down 10% from last year, which was an all-time low, and the all-time low prior to that was last year.
Yeah,
so,
I can't blame them.
It doesn't resonate. Yeah. It just doesn't resonate.
They're spitting in the face of middle Americans. They're just like they're giving an FU to middle America. And that's why Trump is going to continue to dominate. In 2018, I really do believe it's going to be a red tsunami. And I believe in 2020, it's going to look like the map did when Reagan won back in 1984.
Oh, yeah.
Only Deanna and our stupid states will be the one, maybe with Hawaii too, that goes for the opposite candidate. Maybe it'll be Spartacus. Think of all the fun we could have.
Spartacus!
I was Spartacus moment. No, I think these people are masochists. Like they like to they love pain. I don't know what it is. I wonder if they know their time is up. And this is like their last hurrah, and their
swan song.
You know, because one of the guys in the monologue said something very odd. He said, "It's so nice to be here with all of you people. Anyone left that hasn't gotten caught yet?" And then and everyone laughed like his familiar laughter. And then he went on, and it was like, "What was that all about?"
That's interesting.
It definitely was a cluster. It was a hot mess. It was. Ice cream left out on a hot day. So we're going to be right back for our last segment, and we'll talk a little bit more about this. And we're going to give you our thumbs up and thumbs down of the week. You don't want to miss it. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Better View. Thanks for joining us tonight. This is our last segment, and we were talking in the previous segment about the Emmy Awards and that self-aggrandizing display of narcissism. Speaking of self-aggrandizing displays of narcissism, have you seen Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez lately, ladies?
Oh my gosh.
She's a gift that keeps on giving. Okay, so she's
my favorite.
I know, me too. I keep sending her out. Let's turn all the states red.
Please just give her a microphone. Just keep giving her a microphone. It's amazing.
She does this photo shoot, right? And she's surrounded by the champion of the people, this Democratic Socialist. She's surrounded by construction workers, and there she is in a $3,500 outfit. What kind of socialist wears a $3,500 outfit? What did you think about that, lady?
Okay, first of all, she doesn't keep the outfit, so, okay.
She slayed it, by the way. She slayed.
I laid these looks.
Slayed it. When you write slay and you're running for Congress, you're automatically out. Like ethics charges when she wins, and she will win, unfortunately, because New Yorkers are stupid, and she's in a very stupid district. But what did you think about that part?
I think if you say you slayed it, you're vetoed, and you're just a mockery. You're a public joke. And we might be laughing at you, but we're definitely not laughing with you. But maybe this is the catcalling thing that she likes. You know, this is like her version of catcalling, saying that she slayed some of these men. Couldn't people have a Me Too movement about that for her?
Yeah, we should. Me Too movement should go both ways. I agree.
He too.
Me too. Hashtag Me Too.
I think that men need to start going back in their memory and think about all the times that they got pushed down the slide by a girl in kindergarten. Girl tried to hold his hand in first grade. Like, make a list, buddy. Get it ready.
I think it's hysterical. So, we have a segment where we do our thumbs up and thumbs down of the week, where we basically lavish praise on someone we deserve it, and we make fun of that person that doesn't deserve it. So, Rihanna, what was your thumbs up and thumbs down of the week?
My thumbs up for the week was, I don't know if you guys saw that little article about a narwhal that got lost, and he got adopted by a group of beluga whales. And so he's like this little unicorn whale that now has a new little family. It was the cutest thing. They got a picture of it, and he looks all different, like the steppe whale. And they all love him, and they go fishing together. It was really cute.
And why can't the Emmys?
I know. So he identifies as a beluga now. But it was precious. And I love animals, and I love the emotional intelligence of whales. I think they're incredible. And I'm big on nature and the environment. So that was a big thumbs up for me. I just thought that was so cute. My thumbs down is this guy who came at me on Twitter. I can't remember his name right now, but if you want to see it, just go he's on my timeline. Go say hi to him. He needs some help. He's adorable. But this poor little, small, soft, gentle little man does not like women who carry guns. He thinks that women who have firearms are too masculine and will not invoke the protective, masculine man, perfect husband type, because they're too frigid and too what is the word I'm looking for, ladies?
Self-sufficient, maybe?
Thank you, self-sufficient. So I told him, okay, I will go ahead and stop a potential rapist, a real one, not a Kavanaugh one, or like a child snatcher dead in their tracks when no man is around to protect me in the middle of a dark parking lot or wherever I will be, where there's usually that's when they attack, right? When you're alone. So I'll protect myself with my big, terrible gun that scares men away, and you can open my jars for me so that you still feel like a man.
Well, I'm telling you, you just gained a whole bunch of male fans, because they're sitting home like, oh my gosh, it's so hot. I wonder if she has a big Glock.
Well, it's bigger than this guy's, you know what, that's for sure. Yeah. But I mean, this guy, and then he tried to say, he called women with their guns that is soft-core conservative porn.
What? I didn't know you were a soft-core porn star. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Apparently, any photo of me holding my firearm, I'm like the Stormy Daniels of the conservative movement.
Oh, my goodness.
Can you believe this? Like, imagine being so insecure that you don't want a woman that can do anything for herself, let alone defend herself.
I'm jealous because I can't carry in New York, and I've been on about 7 months, and I still haven't got called for my interview, just so I can go shoot a handgun. So
that is one thing I really appreciate about Arizona. It's open carry, and they're really good that way. And I did actually switch from concealed carry to open carry because we're 90 minutes from the border. I've got 4 kids. There were 4 Amber Alerts in the last 2 weeks. And so don't mess with my family.
So, Deanna, what was your thumbs down and pardon me, let's be optimistic. Your thumbs up and your thumbs down.
I would say thumbs up first was just chilling and having drinks with General Mike Flynn and his family. And
Mike Flynn, we love you, General.
So amazing. And Sheriff Joe, and educating liberals. And some of my favorite people, just having drinks and chilling with them and actually getting to know them as people. They were really amazing this weekend. They really are true patriots. That Flynn family, they don't deserve what they've been going through. And they do have a fund if we want to contribute to them, by the way. But
do you know the name of it?
What's the fund?
I think it's Mike Flynn Defense Fund. Is it that Mike?
I will send the link out to you guys because it's in one of my windows that is open here. But I would advise you guys. Oh, Michael Flynn Legal Defense Fund. MichaelFlynnDefenseFund.com. But fantastic family, tons of patriots. They're just amazing. So that was just really fun, and it was a thumbs up for the weekend. And I would say thumbs down would be, Stormy Daniels coming out this morning with just talking about President Trump's penis size and what it looked like, and comparing it to a Super Mario Kart character. How
does she remember? I mean, she's seen a lot.
I'm sorry, but if you remembered it, then that means you enjoyed it. Come on. If you don't remember a penis, if you're not enjoying it, you're not remembering details, and you want to look away. But if you remembered it, you enjoyed it. And I love my president, but I love him like a strong, cool father figure or like a grandpa. Mm-hmm. And that is just awesome and tough love. I don't really care to hear about what's going on downstairs with him, what that looks like, or see any visuals like that. So Thank you, Stormy, for that stupid visual.
Yeah, Stormy is just she's like herpes. She's annoying, irritating, painful to listen to.
She's the storm that doesn't freaking go away.
She really is. She really is.
She's awful.
Yeah, completely. I'm going to give my thumbs up this week to Brendan Struck, not to be confused with Peter Struck, completely different spelling, different character. Brandon Struck has nothing to do with the FBI or Russian collusion. He is the originator and founder of the Walk Away movement. I've been working very, very diligently with him, putting together a Walk Away march. So we're going to march on Washington. It's a whole weekend. I think Deanna's going to be there. I believe your future husband's going to be there, Rihanna.
He's going to be there.
We're going to have the who's who of all of your personalities. Some of them I can't say yet, but I know that Dinesh D'Souza is given us the permission. We can use his name. So if Dinesh is going, a lot of other big names are going. So you can come to the gala, you can march with us, brunch with us, whatever you want to do. You can do all of them or just come and march. You can look at www.walkawaymarch.com for more information, or you can always DM me on Twitter, and I'll be happy to help you out. So my thumb, I just hit my microphone. That happens, TV, the magic of TV. My thumbs down, and this is the best. I actually changed my thumbs down at the last minute because I read the most unbelievably, to me it's hilarious, the story. It's sad, but hilarious. 45-year-old Michael Alapurdi was arrested today because he threatened the life of an 11-year-old who beat him at Fortnite and eliminated him from the Fortnite little game they have. I guess they have a little tournament. So he threatened this kid in text and verbally, and he said he was going to shoot him. And this prompted his school to go on lockout. Okay, there's a local school here.
Wow.
So this threat, that's how credible it was. So I will take most likely to live in his mommy's basement for 200 hours. Because, come on.
Gosh.
45-year-olds playing Fortnite, losing, and threatening 11-year-old.
That's insane. Yeah, man-child for sure. Not only that, totally not in touch with reality. Yeah. Wow.
Completely not. So with that, we're going to end it here for this week. You can catch us next week. I'm Tracy Belmonte. You can find me at Real Politidiva. Rihanna, where can people find you on Twitter?
I'm at _Hublet.
Okay, wonderful. And Deanna?
You can find me at Deanna Lorraine 7 on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube.
That's right. You have a rockin' YouTube channel. It's awesome. Yeah. You want to learn about you? Check it out. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Big dating game kiss. Mwah.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.